Hey guys, so today I wanted to actually do a spoiler-free book review for The Trespasser by Tana because this is a book that I haven't heard anyone talking about here on BookTube, and I really loved it, and I just wanted to share why I loved it and why I think you may be interested. So this whole thing will be spoiler-free, so hopefully I can encourage you to go and pick it up. The Trespasser is the 6th book in Tana French's Dublin Murder Squad, which is a series that I have read with my book club called The Murder Squad, which is actually named after this book series. We've read all these books together, and we've also read a few other like thriller, mystery type of novels as well. But Tana French really has stood out from all that we've read. She's an incredibly talented writer. If you enjoy detective murder mysteries, right off the bat, I'm gonna say go and give this book a shot. And although this book is the 6th book in a series, each book is written as a standalone, so you will see a few of the same characters kind of throughout the whole series, but each book is like a very well organized plot that begins and gets wrapped up within each novel. So you don't have to read all 5 other books prior to reading The Trespasser. I would still encourage you to do it because they're good books, but for the sake of this video and for the sake of me just wanting people to read The Trespasser, I'm just saying you can really go out and read The Trespasser and you won't feel clueless at all. So this book follows a case of a beautiful young woman who is found dead in her home, and that the detectives who are put on this case are Conway, who is the only female detective in the murder squad, and her partner Moran, who is just such a good balance to her, which I will get more into later. And they also have one of the more seasoned detectives, Detective Breslin, who's kind of working alongside them, although he's not exactly one of like their partner. He just is more like a supervisor, word of wisdom detective who's also working on the case. So a little background on Conway and Moran. Conway has been hassled by some men on the murder squad. She's kind of looked down upon. People do mean things to her, and so because of that, she is incredibly tough. She doesn't put up with anything from anyone. She is like the toughest chick you'll ever read about. And when this case starts out, it's something that seems like a pretty simple case to solve. It seems like just a simple domestic case, like a boyfriend went kind of wild, got really upset, and ended up accidentally killing his girlfriend. That's what it seems like, something really easy to solve. Get it in, get it done, over with. But it actually turns out to be a lot more complex and involving a lot more people that are actually hitting pretty close to home. So it's Detective Moran and Conway trying to figure out what the real story is, and it slowly unravels throughout the book. So that's where I will leave the summary, but I do want to talk about some of my favorite parts of this book. The first being the characters. Tana French has an incredible way of writing characters that are so down to earth, they're so real, and they're so dynamic. You can 100% see their authenticity in the characters themselves, and they come to life. I unfortunately was listening to the audiobook for An Enchantment of Ravens while I was reading this, and just comparing the characters and how they were developed in Enchantment of Ravens and in The Trespasser, it was mind-blowing how much more vivid and real the characters that Tana French wrote were. These characters were just like flat paper basically in comparison. So you're really drawn into the mystery because you are so invested in these characters and what they're going through. And obviously this book covers more than just the mystery. It's also about Conway and where she is in the squad and what her role is and how she feels like an outcast in the squad. And it's also about her relationship and her partnership with Moran and how they are just such a good balance for each other. I seriously cannot say it enough, but even in all the other books by Tana French, this still holds true. The way that Tana French writes partnerships, especially these detective partnerships and relationships, is incredible. Like, they are just so rich and deep. There's really such a good ebb and flow with these characters and how they interact with each other and how they fight and how they show they're excited for each other. They're just written so well. I can't wait for you to read this and you can know what I'm talking about. The second aspect that makes this book well worth your read is definitely the mystery. You will not get bored with this case. It's a case that is constantly changing, so you're constantly hooked to see what's going to happen next and what you're going to find out next. And the best part of the mystery unraveling is done in the interview room, or when they're doing an interview. When it's Conway and Moran doing an interview with a suspect or a witness, it's Just so cool to see how Tana French changes these detectives and changes how these detectives act in response to their suspect to get what they want to hear. It's more fine-tuned than just being good cop, bad cop. They're so perceptive in what the suspect needs and what the suspect is looking for. Seriously, the interview chapters are so good. They're also usually really long, but they're so good that you do not want to stop reading it until you're done. I mean, once you start an interview scene, you have to finish it because so much gets revealed in those scenes, and just watching these characters and these detectives break these suspects and witnesses and just kind of get what they want out of them without them even really noticing that it's happening. It's so cool to watch. So overall, this book would be great for anyone who enjoys a good detective murder mystery, even if any part of what I've said sounds interesting, even if you're just starting getting into mystery, I would say give this book a chance because it is so well written that even if you don't like mystery, you will enjoy the other elements that are in this book. If you've read it, please let me know, and if you've read the other books in her series, I'd love to hear which one is your favorite. I still think The Likeness, which is book 2, is my favorite, but The Trespasser is up there, as well as Broken Harbor. So those are some of my favorites, but let me know what yours are in the comments below. Thanks for watching and happy reading.